What are you curious about?
I know English not very good, have problems with expressing my own ideas, using grammar not very well, and sometimes it's difficult to, sometimes it takes a while to actually exactly state what I mean. Very often I find it difficult to dealing with the logical part of things. I'm 26 years old. I have almost 2 degrees in economics and design. At the moment I'm working on a 3rd one. And I have a big experience in the restaurant business. However, I cannot call myself a professional in those areas which I just mentioned. All of this because I'm exploring the world according to my own individual structure. The structure without any structure. It's coming in different moments, although if I find something interesting for me, I'm steep in that. At that moment, those things are 3. It's food, design, and music. First is what attracts me most of all, and I'm doing this on a daily basis. However, I'm not doing this on a professional level. Considering more as a hobby, rather as an instrument which can bring some changes in this world. Design, and especially graphic design, never stopped to impress me. And I always profoundly admire when I see an interesting logo or a poster or a good design book's cover. Music. Music is what everybody interested in. And it doesn't matter what kind of music, since it's become a motivation of doing wonderful things. So let me stop on these 3 things for a second. Until a particular moment, I didn't realize how close and coherent these areas in the business where I'm working. For the restaurant business, these things are base of creativity. They're all determined by a concept of your venue. Your venue forms your menu, your concept first your menu, set up a design, formal or informal, and music kind of reflects a common ambience, what person hears first of all. When I'm cooking, I put music on, and recently I almost had a fight with my neighbor about it. However, I believe that music adds some energy in the process, make it more jovial, and I can sing and cook at what time, which I also do pretty good. Well, all this kind of stirs up my interest in what I'm doing, and I never stop to exploring new things through these areas. There's also other side of the coin, of course, which is finance, accounting, planning. Sometimes it seems to be boring and it's difficult to keep concentration on these things because, yeah, it's kind of difficult. However, I kind of train myself to understand these things and basically through my cooking enthusiasm. It's funny because nature hoarded me with developed right side of the brain, and I was still a bit jealous to these gifted people who can decide and catch everything directly. These people can prepare themselves for a test for one evening, write a 30-page assignment for one night, or determine the return on investment without any calculations at all. I was always wondering by this ability kind of look through the situation and cut the sense off. We all know these people with developed left side of the brain, and they are majority, unfortunately. Why unfortunately? Because these people are hostages of their own brain, and their logic become a dominate, and everything what beyond this logic are not available for their understanding. An Indian philosopher Osho once said that main difference between man and woman is that the first one is highly logical and the second is simply intuitional. And it's the main cause of their misunderstanding. Men used to think and analyze a lot, while woman acts faster than him, not thinking because she already knows the decision. There's also a good anecdote when a woman coming home and telling to his husband that, honey, I just won a lottery. I came up with the idea that 4 multiplied by 3 will be 18. And the number was 18, by the way. He's telling, what the hell, 4 by 3 is 12. She's telling, well, you can be in mathematics, but I'm rich now. So according to this information, we can see that men and women kind of personification of the energy, and every human being contains this energy. kind of creativity from the mother and logical part from father. On the science language of logic, it calls left and right side of the brain. And thing is not to stamp or split these people into categories, rather try to understand how it works and try to combine these two parts. A big problem which happened with the kids these days, it's the loss of concentration. I would say not a problem, rather our opinion about that. And what it is? Well, basically it's the inability to keep concentration on concrete things, loss of interest, and inability to finish something because of some reasons. These reasons by doctors and scientists used to determine as depression, mental illness, tiredness, and monotony of actions. The last one, I believe, is the core of this issue. Norway scientists made an experiment where several participants had to observe a few spots occurring on the screen and press several buttons as well. In the process, they started making mistakes. It was occurred by decreasing an activity of prefrontal part of the brain, which is in charge of purposeful human actions. Well, in the simple words, they just were pissed off by doing the same things on and on and on. In general, if we look to the articles which explain the problem of concentration difficulties, we can see plenty of reasons from depression, anxiety, hyperactivity, dyslexia, dementia, rave, mental illnesses, etc., etc. I mean, health professionals and doctors just made a causal list, which doesn't explain actually what the cause exactly is. And cause of what? Lack of concentration. My question, is it too bad to have lack of concentration? Don't get me wrong, I support health development, but what if through this inability, kids can find a new way of creative ability? What if this disorder can be used as a guide of new creative thinking? What if this disorder is not disorder, is just a sign identity of the kid that he has to be moved in different direction? He can be a different one. He's not the same, and monotony of schoolwork just makes him tired. He's not interested in what's going on there. And he tried to go beyond the standards, but doesn't know how. It's very subtle age, and usually our ability of self-actualization often killed by our own parents, by their old-fashionedness. I know one story in Russia when a boy explained his enthusiasm of playing piano, that one day he would like to study at conservatorium. As a result, he was sent to the army by his father, who found in this curiosity strange homosexual tendency. I think we forgot about individuality, because people have only one in common, that they're all different. And how we actually fight against these deviations? We stuff kids with the tablets, we keep them at home, which standardize them, which block them from exploring the world in a completely different manner. And we are kind of proud of ourselves, like we're taking care of them properly. I mean, in my opinion, rather, creativity is important as a five-dimensional principle. In other words, logic can be trained, developed. Development of creativity is much more difficult, and we should catch this ability. Well, my idea actually to give absolute freedom to the kids, because I believe through this freedom they can understand the logical part of things. I have an example here. One of them was leaking, by the way. Yeah, it's a product, of course. This is the Mandarin. Well, we all know the advantages of Mandarin. Nothing special, right? Just round shape and probably only color tracks. But let me pretend that I don't know what is Mandarin at all. I never had the business with this kind of products, and I don't know how it's called. So, in this case, I should rather rely on my intuition, not on logic. So, I touch this Mandarin, I feel something inside, right? So, probably I should clean that, which takes some while. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Well, probably I should clean that. And I see something inside. And I dealt with the products before. I'm not going to do this completely because, you know, it's really juicy, you know. Yeah, and I dealt with the products before, and I know they have to be eaten. So I tried that. And a bit acid, by the way. But good news that I like it, right? And eventually I will understand advantages of the Mandarin. And since I'm interested in that, I will try to seek more information about that because I'm involved. I'm interested in what's going on. And this new feeling, this the vitamins, you know. And my idea is that I believe that creativity and intuitional part and logic part from the other side, they kind of just walking nearby each other. We need just to connect them. So I believe through this we could solve inequality of these two parts. At one common day, I found an interesting article. Michael Fitzgerald from Trinity College expressed an idea that ADHD, which is attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, can be used as a source of new ideas and can be cause of genius as well. He also mentioned that a lot of outstanding people, such as Picasso, Kurt Cobain, Oscar Wilde, myself, and Thomas Jefferson suffered from this syndrome. The main idea that he said it was that inability of keeping concentration of the kid can be substituted by his ability of ability of concentration in a narrow area which he feels comfortable. So, so my goal actually that to give a possible solution how to combine these two parts. And I found that creative therapies such as playing an instrument, dancing, drama, etc., painting, they rather aimed on a self-expression. They have a seeds of concentration, they have a seeds of balancing, but usually we don't really see it or they are too weak in their realization. So I found my idea actually that food preparation process, which is absolutely common and essential for a human being, can be considered as a creative therapy. Because usually kids observe how their own parents cook, and usually really interested in what's going on and usually want to participate. The main advantages of the kids in this age that they explore in the world as much as they can, and they also can be influenced by trends in a good way, in the right way. I see how food development, how food movement actually developing these days, and it's also a broad range of areas from the cooking to the food magazines, food design, and food photography, etc. In the United States, people actually reading lectures about how it's importance of urban farming and food overall. I want to show you one venue in Berlin. Former Fabrik, by the way. Well, that's it, actually. Thank you very much. Yeah, but the idea is that we're not talking about simple cooking here. It's like more on metaphysic level here, because products and cooking are considered here as an experience, as a different knowledge. A place where ideas become at one point and they spread the experience and the ideas through the cooking. Cooking is thinking and doing in the flow here. So if we would have this kind of places where kids can devote themselves for cooking, where this knowledge could be achieved. I see these places as a charity places, as a community of involved people, people from different areas, from different creative areas, from cooking areas, like designers, tutors, etc., where could bring their own knowledge in order to establish some kind of new education system. I mean personnel. So the idea is behind that, which I already mentioned, ADHD, it's based on three main causes, which is inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. The idea is to guide hyperactivity and impulsivity in narrow area, which is cooking in this case, and solve inattention. So, okay, let's imagine that kid in this area, right? He already interested in what's going on. And at the moment, in the beginning, he just puts his energy in the process. He doesn't think about any logical part at all in the beginning. He just making experiments and copying recipes and all these kind of things. He just enjoying of his own process. At a certain point, logical part occurring, and he started come up with the questions through different literature. I mean, food literature, food magazines. He started come up with ideas that where my products come from and what should I take in order to create my own meal. What kind of calculations method can be here? What kind of price method? What is food cost? What is financial ratios here? And financial analysis, etc. So kind of by narrow his hyperactivity and impulsivity in a narrow area, we make it broader his logical part. So his creativity kind of force him to develop his rational part. And all this through the freedom and independence. It can be applied for all creative therapies as well, but that's the kind of way that I overcame for myself. And that's how I actually still trying to solve my own problem. And this personnel, what I mentioned, they rather to guide kids in their own development, because since we're dealing with the kids, they need to be guided. So my idea is that ADHD has a positive character, and we don't have to fight with that. We just need to work with that. And that's my idea. And thank you very much.